Hi, it's Gab, and I'm reviewing Lawless, the new period crime drama about Prohibition era and three brothers. The youngest is played by Shia LaBeouf, and the eldest is Tom Hardy. We won't talk about the middle. You know, the middle one always gets pushed to the side. So, hey, Tom Hardy. Any movie starring Tom Hardy, especially this summer, it's got my attention. And a lot of people hate on Shia LaBeouf, but I don't mind him. And they both had good performances in this film. I'll say that off the bat. As I say, they are brothers, and they're running a handy little moonshine business in their small town, circa 1931, Prohibition. There's some big muckety-muck gangsters doing big business in the city, in Chicago, and that would be Gary Oldman, who makes far too brief appearance. He's not the star. He's not even the main villain of this film. Just so you know that, he's sorely underused, and that's a real disappointment. The main villain is Guy Pearce, who is the corrupt lawman who comes to town and either wants a cut of the action or else he's going to wipe out any bootleggers who aren't participating or cooperating. And these brothers are not cooperating. Tom Hardy is the brains and definitely the brawn of this familial operation, and he doesn't take any you-know-what from anybody. He's not laying down. Shia LaBeouf is the youngest, is a wannabe. He's never shown the grit to his brothers to fully participate in the biz, but he really wants that image of the gangster lifestyle. And it's really his coming of age story in this conflict and showdown with the corrupt law factor, as to him proving himself to his brothers, to himself, etc., etc. If it sounds a bit cliched, it is. A lot of the scenes and the lines and the setups and the story beats felt almost borderline satirical to me, and there were some laughs in the audience that I'm not sure were intended by the filmmaker. It does capture the era well, and we've seen so many of these kinds of films that you tread that fine line. There's a risk of going into that sort of, as I say, a satirical realm unintentionally, and it straddles the line, but it's a little bit weak. And I think it's weak because the story is a little bit weak, and the story is small. It really is only about these brothers in this town. Not that it needed to be epic, but it didn't have that epic feel. That it had the swagger of an epic, but it didn't deliver story-wise as any great story. I didn't care particularly about any of these characters. I didn't even necessarily believe the three mains as brothers, which could have perhaps undermined the stakes for me right there. Guy Pearce is the main villain, is a real scene chewer. He's very sort of, has a very affected manner, creepy, fat, oily, evil manner about him, which is over the top, but it's enjoyable. You would have thought that Gary Oldman would have delivered that, but he's very underused, and I scratch my head as to why he was as underused as he was, and it's unfortunate because he's always fun, and at least you could have just thrown him in there to the hilt and really had a lot of fun with it. It's really fun to watch Tom Hardy, of course, especially this summer. You can't help but think of Bane. Not that this character has anything to do with Bane, but Tom Hardy is great at the steely glare, the foreboding, don't mess with me physicality, and you really feel that, and he held this together for me. The trio of brothers and the story, every scene that he was in are the scenes that mattered to me. Other than that, as I say, the weight isn't there. The scope is there visually. It's lovely, very lovely shot. You believe the era that you're seeing. I really like this director, Hillcoat, who also directed The Road, and I'm a big admirer of the film The Road, but this story just didn't move me, and so it was entertaining as a story and fun to look at, but it didn't bring it to me beyond that level. But at this time of the summer, the blockbusters are behind us, the awards season contenders are still a bit out of reach ahead of us, so it's kind of an appropriate time of year to just have some fun and let yourself be lost in this small period crime drama for what it is. So for what it is, I would give it 3.5 Gabs. That's Lawless, and thanks for watching.